these players have brought. Ryan on the left, Pablo on the right. And Ryan is going to be playing a deck that we have seen a bit of already. He's one of the players from this group that's playing the Arceus Beedrill deck. Same thing we saw from Isaiah Bradner in the last round.
Yeah, Bees is in a really weird, interesting spot in this meta where a lot of players love playing these special energy cards. And if you can target those special energy cards, of course you need to go after that. And you can't miss attacks. And that's what Pablo's going to be working on in his right. He's going to be playing his own Arceus Inteleon list, but it's pretty clean. He's got a nice thick Arceus line and loves using that Sharon's Care. So we're going to see how that works out necessarily. Is Pablo going to be able to use those basic energy cards? If he is, then Ryan's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah, something that Pablo is going to have access to is the Melanie. This is a really solid card and kind of something that's fallen out of favor in these Arceus decks. Most players kind of opt for, playing the grass energies these days with the Beedrill, or playing darkness type energies for things like Hoopa V and Crobat V Max. But Pablo is sticking to the kind of old school. I guess old school isn't really the right word since, it's just a few weeks ago. But that's how fast these metas develop, right? He's kind of sticking with this consistent list that's performed well over the last few weeks, having the 6 basic water energies. So I think that's going to be a big thing for Pablo. If he can attach a basic water energy turn 1, Melanie, and then attach another basic water energy turn 2, Beedrill's not going to do really anything to an Arceus that has 3 basics on it.
Yeah, finding those positions is going to be key for Pablo. Making sure that he can use turns where he does use those double turbo energies and then maybe use a Sharon's Care. That's going to be a nice way to clean up and avoid those knockouts.
We see some prizes being laid out.
Double boss.
Double Sobble on Pablo's side as well. That is not something you want to see as an Inteleon player. Ryan also prized the 1 copy of Ordinary Rod, so if there's ever any painful discards early in the game, that's not going to be an option to get pieces back into the deck with a recovery card like the Ordinary Rod, since discarding or using a Beedrill is usually something you're going to want to put back in to use later. With that Ordinary Rod being at the top of the prizes, that's probably not an option for Ryan in this game. He'll definitely have to make adjustments because of that.
All right, we're going to get into the action now here. Round 14, both these players would love to find a win to add to their totals. Ryan Sable is going to be starting things off here with the Sobble and a Quick Ball.
Gets rid of the 1 copy of Water Energy, I believe, that they play in this deck. A great option to be able to use Aqua Bullet, and by getting it in the discard pile, you may say, oh, it's gone, he can't utilize it anymore.
Oh, no.
But they're using 2 copies of Training Court in this deck, a Stadium card, where once it's in play, you can, once during your turn, search your discard pile for an energy card and put it into your hand. So putting this water energy into the discard pile actually means Ryan is going to have access to it throughout the rest of this game.
Also almost always guarantees that Ryan has an additional energy, as he's going to be looking to find that energy attachment to an Arceus on this opening turn. And you have to think that Pablo's licking his chops over there, looking at a water in the discard pile on turn 1. He's like, I want to do some Melanie shenanigans. Let me have that.
Yeah, please let me discard some energies on turn 1. I'm sure Pablo would love for that to happen. Ryan has another Arceus, or has an Arceus, and also has a level ball. That's not going to really be super helpful, though, because there's no Sobbles left in the deck. Chooses to go with Quick Ball instead, though, and grabs the Arceus, and that level ball can now be saved for the next turn.
Yeah, just looking at the hand, Grass Energy, level ball, Ultra Ball, I believe.
Not bad.
That means Ryan's definitely going to be able to play that single strike Mustard on the following turn. He's going to be able to find that additional B, as long as it's not the only card on the top of the deck.
Yeah, that would be a very, very unfortunate top deck when you're trying to pull the Mustard off. And it will just be a pass over to Pablo, who does have a Quick Ball in hand and also has an Avery. Not the time you really want to be playing the Avery, though.
Oh, come on. Draw 3 is always good in the Pokemon TCG.
Okay, come on now. But does draw into the basic Water Energy and the Quick Ball, exactly what Pablo likes to see. Avery is such a good tech in this deck. Because of how popular this Inteleon engine is, you can just really punish your opponent for overbenching or overextending and force them to discard key pieces. Unfortunately, though, for Pablo, it was the really only option here in this opening hand.
Yeah, you got to see that Pablo was hovering over that Quick Ball potential water discard, and he's just going to leave the door open. Potentially, he will have that Melanie option by way of Starbirth and some discarding effects in his hand if those can come to there. But honestly, this seems pretty solid so far. He's going to be able to get that water attachment onto the Arceus V, and as long as you find a Sobble or two, you have to think that Pablo's feeling okay.
Yeah, Pablo may feel fine to put a double turbo on the Arceus as well, potentially, since it's not possible for Ryan to use Mustard plus Boss's Orders in the same turn. But by putting a water energy, you are potentially playing to that triple water energy with the Melanie play if it is something Pablo can piece together. Does quick ball for Sobble, you definitely want to establish a bunch of these guys, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and it looks like this may be the only one for Pablo, which is a little unfortunate. It just means that the Starbirth in combination with the Drizzile is only finding 3 cards, and it probably takes a little more than that to get the combos that we're talking about here.
Yeah, and both of these players, remember, did prize 2 copies of Sobble apiece, so it's going to be a little while before we see the sad boys hit the field.
All right, never beat, right?
Not top deck's the Arceus. But what do you have to discard here? I guess you just Ultra Ball away the 2 cards, or you can Starbirth with the Arceus in hand for cards to just discard with Ultra Ball.
Yeah, that's certainly a position that Ryan's going to have to think about here. And of course, he was hoping for any regular old card off the top that wouldn't be an issue, and Arceus V starts a really good one, so at least it's not a B, though.
It is solid, but it is going to force him to kind of think about this maybe a little bit more than if it had just been something like an energy card, right?
Yeah.
So he'll have to navigate exactly what he wants to do. He also would love to Starbirth for an energy to guarantee an attack this turn. Potentially the Trinity Nova, obviously using the Beedrill at this point isn't useful since little Dunsparce here in the active doesn't have any special energies, and using Jet Spear is probably not ideal.
Well, are we thinking maybe Drizzile into Quick Ball, discard the Ultra Ball, fail search, and go? It's kind of goofy, but maybe there's some form that this works out.
Yeah, could actually Drizzile for the Scoop Up Net, and then Scoop Up Net and use the Drizzile again on the bench Sobble. That way you go ahead and get one of the pieces you need to pull off an attack this turn, which is a switching card.
As long as we don't lose a Sobble in this situation, that's fine, because the prize cards are not pretty.
Definitely. We want to hang on to these Sobbles as much as we can. So Shady Dealings comes into play. Any trainer card can be grabbed, and that Scoop Up Net is at the front of the deck, and sure enough, that is what Ryan is going to go with. So this gets that switching option, which is a piece that is needed.
Looks like Arceus V is going to be the attacker of choice in this situation. May just load up with that Arceus, get his energy attachments onto the Arceus V, and then have that Beedrill waiting in the wings if Pablo wasn't able to get that Melanie combo.
Ryan will go with the Starbirth, can get any 2 cards with this. We know that Ultra Ball in hand is maybe a little awkward. This can definitely guarantee the double turbo, and we know that Drizzile's in hand to potentially get the Mustard. You could also just grab the Mustard with this. It's definitely a little awkward, though, with that Ultra Ball still in hand, a card that you can't really play since all your other cards are things you don't want to discard.
Yeah, certainly a little tricky. I think this card is going to be very telling. We knew the double turbo was going to be coming up, but how do you work around this Ultra Ball? That is definitely the question.
Yeah, I think it's got to be just like a Quick Ball and a Mustard, or as these last 2 cards off of the 3 potential things Ryan can find, right? So DTE as one, Mustard is the other for Starbirth, and now you can go Drizzile, Shady Dealings, grab a Quick Ball, discard that Ultra Ball, and boom, Mustard will be played.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. Don't know what off the Quick Ball sounds good. There are 2 Sobble in the prize cards.
I almost wonder if you just fail it, potentially.
That's where I'm heading.
Yeah. I don't think that you really want to clog your bench up too much, because another Arceus probably doesn't do you any good, right?
Right, and we already know that Pablo's playing the copy of the Avery. He also has that Collapse Stadium, too. So keeping a nice, clean bench seems like a very optimal line.
Yeah, the Collapsed Stadium is definitely a card that could come up. It can do a few things, right? Similar to the Avery, it can limit your opponent's bench, force them to discard a Sobble at an inopportune time. But on Pablo's end, it can actually act as kind of like a second Sharon's Care. You don't get the cards back into your hand, obviously, but you can retreat an Arceus to the bench that's taken a lot of damage. You can throw that Collapsed Stadium in play after filling your bench up to 5, and then just discard that heavily damaged Pokemon.
Yeah, the good old giant stump plays of old. We love those.
And Ryan is able to pull off this Mustard. Beedrill has hit the field.
That's right. No ketchup today, all Mustard.
And now 5 cards can be drawn as well. The Beedrill not useful in this exact moment, but it's really good to go ahead and get it in play. Make that threat known. Pablo now is really going to have to be mindful of how he attaches energy cards moving forward.
All right, we'll see what else is in the hand there. Also, it looks like another Drizzle and the Inteleon, so very strong cards for Ryan. Of course, going to take this knockout here with the Arceus V-Star and look to load up his second Arceus V on the bench.
Yeah, Ryan takes an early lead in this game, the turn 2 KO. This is exactly what this deck is meant to do. Attack with Arceus V-Star on turn 2. And let's see what kind of response Pablo has to this. Arceus V-Star is not a bad start.
Double Turbo is certainly going to keep Pablo in this thing. Going to be able to get some energy acceleration of his own. Also has not used his Starbirth ability yet. So now it's just about making the most of this hand. Likely going to have to start fishing for a supporter to get a couple additional resources here.
Yeah, Pablo's hand is Choice Belt and Pal Pad. Not useful cards right now. So the Shady Dealings is going to need some help. And Pablo, by attaching the double turbo energy, is actually eyeing up the boss's orders. I think we're chasing bees here.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you got to grab the can of Raid and go after him. This is a big problem, and Pablo knows exactly what he's up against here.
Boss's orders, and sure enough, Beedrill is the target, and the V-Star power can get Pablo 2 more cards. I'm sure he'd love to establish another Sobble, but what is this other card grab? What makes sense at this point?
Yeah, you know that he needs to charge up another attacker, so that makes a ton of sense. But thinking of what you're supposed to do with this follow-up, filling the hand is kind of tricky with this deck because all your supporters are a lot of these tech supporters, these draw 3s with an effect, and that doesn't fill your hand as big as you'd like.
Maybe instead of Sobble here, Pablo can grab just an actual supporter card for the next turn, something like the Research or the Marnie.
Yeah. No, that seems pretty fair.
Especially if you know that 2 Sobbles are prized, right? Because since you're taking a prize here, you've got, what, a 1/3 chance to take a Sobble?
That's what we're looking for here at this point, absolutely. Oh, looks like the Inteleon's a pretty strong choice, too.
And Pablo will take this KO, and 3 energies can be accelerated to the benched Arceus V. And this Arceus, important to note, will only have basic energies on it on the bench.
Yep, that's what Pablo's looking for. This is going to be probably one of his optimal Arceus V. But honestly, at this point, Ryan's down 2 Beedrill. And we know that Ordinary Rod's still in the prize cards. So we're not going to have to worry about B for a long time.
Yeah, Pablo doesn't know that, though. So he has to play like Ryan has access to that Ordinary Rod. I'm sure he's very aware of what this list looks like at this point. I know he's good friends with a lot of the guys that are playing this deck.
Can I see your discard pile?
So he's playing around the potential of Ryan pulling off a Ordinary Rod play to get back the Beedrills, pull off the Mustard, which is very possible if the Ordinary Rod wasn't prized because of how powerful Shady Dealings Inteleon is.
Right, you see Sobble and Drizzle on the bench and you think, oh, this guy can get anything he wants.
My opponent can literally do whatever they want next turn. So Ryan does promote the Arceus V with the 3 basic energies on it. That means he will have to find the Arceus V-Star, but it looks like it's already sitting there in the hand.
Ryan is going to find out some information on this search here. Drizzle, of course, initially looking for any cards that can be helpful. And look at this, the Choice Belt, maybe targeting down that Arceus V on the bench.
That is a decent option, and we know Ryan did just take the boss's orders off of the prize, so this is a great way for Ryan to just kind of sneak in a 2-prize KO.
Can't heal if you're not around.
That's right, because that's kind of the goal of Pablo's deck in this mirror match, is to tank hits with your large Arceus V-Star in the active, and then use Sharon's Care to evolve the benched one. Pablo was unable to get a big charm on this benched Arceus, and Ryan's able to take a 2-prize knockout.
Yep. Ordinary Rod, of course, sitting up there at the tippy top, so not going to see that. But
yeah, Ryan has to accelerate energies from the Trinity Nova before taking the prize cards. That is important, but he will get 2 prizes this turn, and it looks like Sobble will be one of them.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice addition to the team. Also worth noting, Ryan still does have that Sharon's Care, so when the Arceus start to go back and forth on each other, there certainly could be a Sharon's War over and over.
And Ryan did take another boss's orders, so if Pablo tries to establish another Arceus this turn on the bench, Ryan could just go for the exact same play.
He can't possibly do it again.
Well, I've got bad news for you, Pablo. If that's what you're planning, he definitely can do it again.
Well, Pablo is going to have that Shady Dealings Inteleon of his own. Of course, the combinations are not as clean when you only have one Sobble in play that you just put down this turn. Not going to be able to do any scoop-up shenanigans. Going to have to wait maybe a turn or so to get that rolling.
Looks like it was a quick ball grabbed, and I can't quite tell what the other card was. Maybe a Marnie, potentially. Ryan does have, what, 6 cards over there in the hand? And maybe Pablo doesn't want to discard some of these pieces, so Marnie could make sense.
Yeah, no, that absolutely works here, and it could certainly be that Ryan does have an Inteleon already in hands. Just play to the odds. Make sure that your opponent doesn't have those cards waiting in the hand, and maybe you do get lucky off 5 cards. If Ryan can't find any way to get that evolution Pokemon Inteleon, then it's going to be tricky to get that boss's orders.
Both of these players are playing the Chilling Rain Inteleon still in their deck, so there's always some potential for some plays to happen with a double quick shooting turn plus Choice Belt in order to reach for a big knockout on Arceus, but it's really hard to do on Pablo's side because there's no Drizziles in play. Over on Ryan's end of the field, though, it's entirely possible for him to pull it off next turn.
Yeah, keep waiting to see if Pablo will ever get access to maybe that big charm at one point to help out this Arceus.
Yeah, but chose to put the Choice Belt on the benched Arceus, which I'm sure that's where you would love to see the big charm, right? Because that's what's going to protect it from a boss's orders.
Yeah, well, Pablo at this point understands you have to take risks. You need to get this second Arceus V-Star into play so that you can start chaining these Sharon Cares over and over again, get these Arceus rolling, and he really just needs one turn for Ryan to miss the cards here.
Yeah, sometimes if you're playing from behind a little bit, you have to make a little bit of risky decisions and just hope that your opponent doesn't hit what they need. If you have a chance to win, sometimes you have to play to that, and I think Pablo knows that, you know, even if he got the big charm in this instance, he's still not necessarily in a great spot, so he just has to hope that Ryan isn't going to have the full combo to boss's orders and KO it.
Well, these cards are absolutely going to be huge. Oh, we already see the Ultra Ball in the hand for Ryan.
That sounds like an Inteleon to me.
Well, we do know, however, there was one boss in the prize cards. Was he able to get that off the other?
Okay. He did take it off the prizes this
so
last
we
turn,
know that's now sitting at the bottom of the deck off that Marnie then.
And Ryan does also have Pal Pad in his hand, so what he could do this turn is go Inteleon, grab that boss's orders out, use it, and then Pal Pad back in both boss's orders so he has decent odds to draw into one of them next turn to clean up a Sobble or Drizzile for game.
Yeah, we also see the Scoop Up Net in hand as well, so we'll be able to return that Inteleon back into the hand and have even more access to Shady Dealings in the future.
And at this point, Ryan is ahead. He doesn't really care about using Sharon's Care. He would much rather just try to chase the prize cards here, and I think this is what Ryan's game plan is. Boss's orders this Arceus, take 2, go down to just 1 prize card remaining, and then all you need next turn is to hit boss's orders once again, since you already have an Arceus powered up and ready to go.
Yeah, you have to think at the point where Ryan's going to get the double boss's orders shuffled back into the deck, maybe Pablo does see the writing on the wall at that point.
For sure.
Both these players are desperate to find a win at this point. This is a huge point in the tournament, and they understand that finding 35 match points is going to be so tricky.
Yeah, there's actually a decent chance that a loss this round would eliminate one of these players from top 8 contention. It's a good shot that a player at 11-3-1 does not make it into top 8, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, there's so many points out and about, but you need a ton to make it into the top 8 here when there's over 1,000 players starting in our day 1 field.
Another Sobble getting established from Ryan. This is excellent because now it's just one more out you could potentially draw into off of a potential disruption card from Pablo. And there is the Pal Pad. How many boss's orders go back? It looks like 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly what Ryan's looking for. We also see the Scoop Up Net in hand, so little decision here to make. Do you go ahead and bring it back? It looks like that is going to be the play. Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, this is excellent because now either of these Sobbles can become a Drizzile to get the game-winning boss, or the Drizzile can become the Inteleon to get the game-winning boss. So it's really kind of just Ryan's game to lose at this point. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, I think he's in control. Pablo's going to do everything he can to make it happen, but he's got the hand knowledge, so right away goes for the Marnie.
Yeah, respect to Pablo, absolutely, for being able to continue on here. We see, of course, that the Arceus V-Star will fall on Ryan's side, but think about how many energies are in the discard pile at a point like this, continually trying to find the resources to load up these Arceus V, and it looks like upwards of 4 energies are in the discard pile right now for Pablo.
There's always a chance here that off of this Marnie, Ryan does not draw an out to Drizzile, Inteleon, or Boss's Orders. And if that's the case, Pablo actually could find a way to come back in this.
Yeah, there is a world where these cards chain together. I think it starts with an Arceus this turn, and then, of course, getting that energy charged up.
Yeah, it has an Ultra Ball, so that can go grab another Arceus.
We see the double turbo in hand, too, so...
There's those options. Ryan has not revealed his hand yet. Not going to take a peek.
Yeah, he's well trained on that. He knows that even he can't handle that information.
Yeah, I know Ryan's also a little bit of he's got some superstitions, right? So he'll do things in certain ways because he feels like maybe if I look right now, there's not going to be a boss. But if I just wait, Boss's Orders will surely be there.
Yeah, 3 eggs over easy, hop on 1 foot and get to the table. It's how we do things around here.
That cannot actually
There's
be a,
no way
a real
that people
expression.
do that. Nope.
Ryan gonna peep the hand. Is the Boss's Orders or a Drizzile there?
He's missing.
There is no out in the hand.
Oh, this is going to be an absolutely huge top deck here.
Let's see, what does Ryan have? Level Ball, Evolution Incense.
No
it's the
way.
Evo Incense, able to grab either Drizzile or Inteleon out of the deck and can go grab Boss's Orders, and Pablo concedes as soon as he sees the Drizzile hit the field.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Everything was already at the bottom of the deck. Needed to find an out to find that Drizzile or Inteleon. Ends up getting it off the card, that 5th card. And Ryan is 1-0 in this series so far against one of the top players in the world in Pablo Meza.
And Pablo's been in this spot before. You know, you expect when you come to these tournaments and you're hoping to make a deep run, you're going to play against some top-tier talent. And, you know, this is definitely a star-studded matchup between these two decorated players. So Pablo knows that he, you know, can just got to keep his head down and focus up. He can very much still fight back and win this set, but he's got to do it. He's got to make it happen. Definitely going to be choosing to go first, I feel like, in this Arceus mirror match.
Yeah, you have to think that if Pablo is able to get down double Arceus on that opening turn, that he's going to put himself in a very favorable spot. Just being able to find potentially that big charm for the Arceus V or the double Arceus V Star, just putting yourself out of range of those Boss's Orders with the Choice Belt shenanigans that Ryan continued to do over and over again. That's absolutely what puts you in a great spot.
It's really interesting, too, because the thing that makes Ryan's deck unique is that Beedrill. And we saw that the Beedrill really didn't have an impact in that game. I guess it did have an impact because Pablo was forced to deal with it, right? For the Boss's Orders right away, but Beedrill never was really attacking or anything like that. Ryan's deck just proved to be the better, more consistent, straightforward Arceus deck.
Yeah, on the big turn where Pablo wanted to get a nice setup, he had to focus on a card that would destroy his entire deck. Wow!
Ooh.
Double Arceus V-Star.
Not the best from Ryan. Does play 3 copies, so we'll have 1 to work with, and one of them did look like it was at the bottom of the deck, so he's really going to be hoping to take that. This is a great start for Pablo, getting the Arceus V already. Has the level ball for Sabel. Over on Ryan's side, starting that Galarian Zigzagoon, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not your best starter.
Yeah, Ryan has been going second a lot this tournament, and he's spoken a lot about what you're supposed to do with that turn, and obviously, don't play bench Pokemon. There's no cards in this format currently that adjust your hand. He actually is holding an Arceus V right now in his hand, but he doesn't want to give that information away. He also would like to get those energies down onto the Arceus V without it being in the active spot to potentially getting damaged.
Yeah, so choosing to start Zigzagoon, even though he will not be able to use that Headbutt Tantrum, and wanting to protect the Arceus, forcing Pablo to maybe have a Boss's Orders. Over on Pablo's side, he actually missed the energy attachment for turn, and Ryan shows him, hey, I've got what it takes, I've got the energy attachment, and Capture Energy is the best energy probably to get down on turn 1.
Yeah, this is huge. Ryan desperately needed to find a Sabel at this point, and now thinking over on Pablo's side for his turn, Starbirth is going to have to find some sort of water, quick ball, Melanie shenanigans. You're asking a lot at this point in order to get the turn 2 attack off here.
That is one of the things I like about Pablo's deck, though, is the fact that you can pull off the turn 2 attack even if you miss the turn 1 energy drop.
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned, it is a bit to hit, but it is very much possible.
Well, Ryan on his side, of course, going to take those counts into consideration. We know that he's getting that information right now, that there's one Arceus V-Star to mess around with this game, but at least does have those Beedrill to work with, those Mustards as well. So if this hand stays as low as it is, there's certainly some outs there.
I wonder, I don't know exactly what Ryan has in hand. Could we possibly see a turn 1 Mustard?
I think it's Grass Energy Drizzile.
Okay.
So we'll wait till turn 2. That's fair.
Well, hopefully that top deck is at least a playable card. That is going to be the piece that Ryan needs to ensure a turn 2 rapid or single strike Mustard.
Yeah, even if it's not Drizzile for Ultra Ball, then you discard whatever that card is along with the Grass Energy. You could make it work, but you're going to have to use that Starbirth ability most likely to get everything going.
So after the shuffle, Pablo cuts the deck. Ryan, with just 2 cards remaining, just passes it back over to Pablo.
Melanie.
That is a great top deck because that's one less piece you have to find off of Shady Dealings or the Starbirth.
Yeah, Drizzile can search out for potentially Quick Ball or Ultra Ball. Then the Arceus can go and find the Water Energy in combination with the Double Turbo.
Yep.
And that's a combo, ladies and gentlemen.
That is the combo Pablo needs to find, and sure enough, Quick Ball will be grabbed off of the Shady Dealings. And 3 cards as well will be drawn off of the Melanie. Now, the rest of Pablo's hand is pretty weak, so he's definitely going to be looking for a little bit of help. The Ultra Ball, yeah, should be in the hand, and now Starbirth is being utilized, and we definitely expect this to just get 2 energy cards, 1 Double Turbo and 1 Water.
Well, it's looked like Pablo understands his deck very well.
Yeah, I mean, he's at 10-2-1. He played this deck at EUIC as well, so
yeah, no.
He definitely knows what to do in these spots.
Yeah, looks like there's some fodder there with the Dunsparce. Gets to hold on to cards like that Pow Pad, which we know can be very crucial in the mid or late stages of the game.
And Sobble is the grab. Great to establish another Sobble. This is kind of just the goal of this deck. Get a bunch of Sobbles and Drizziles in play so you can use the Shady Dealings, because that's what gives you all these options and all the different things you can do.
All right, Melanie's going to get that energy along with 3 additional cards.
Let's see what the cards are. It's a Quick Ball, Evo Incense, and another Water Energy. Not too bad.
Those are great, yeah. With the Sobble already there, the Drizzile down 2, Evolution Incense just opens up a world where Pablo could find plenty of different cards to continue with this current advantage that he has right now. Already taken a prize card in the opening of Game 2.
Yep. Trinity Nova takes the KO. 3 energies can be accelerated to the benched Arceus. And this is a big opening for Ryan. Has a couple of options, honestly. Could maybe go for a boss play, could go for the Mustard. We probably will lean more towards the Mustard, though, try to establish that Beedrill. And it is technically possible for Ryan to pull off a Beedrill KO this turn.
Yeah, I think the Arceus V in the active spot kind of is a tell sign. I feel like if you promoted Sobble, then maybe the scoop up net opportunities allow more Beedrill stuff to go down, but we'll see what he ends up working with here.
Well, he did top deck Evolution Incense, which is excellent because this can grab the Arceus V-Star, and that really, I mean, just the fact that you can get any 2 cards out of your deck is pretty much always going to guarantee that you have the ability to pull Mustard off if you want it. He does have the 1 air balloon, right? So that is a way that he could move this Arceus and still pull off a Beedrill.
Right, yeah, there's certainly a combination of cards that Ryan's going to need to work through here. That Grass Energy is going to need to hit the discard pile, so that is one awkward piece of this.
Yeah, can always grab the Training Cord, of course, so
yeah.
Sometimes getting that Grass Energy in the discard pile is actually beneficial.
Yeah, I think it's going to be about maximizing your odds here in order to find that second Drizzile, because I think that's going to be the crucial piece here after you use the single strike Mustard, of finding that 1 additional piece to get yourself out of the active spot or find that energy attachment.
Yeah, he's debating between these 2 pieces here. It looks like Air Balloon and the single strike Mustard.
Yeah, I think getting the Pokemon out of the active spot is a little more crucial than finding the energy card. Finding the energy is a little easier. You have access to drawing the Training Cord itself, or you could search for the energy search, or you could just draw the Grass Energy right out of the deck off the top 5.
I think Ryan just double checking. I did bench this Sobble last turn, right? And sure enough, he did. So there is the option to use a second Shady Dealings. This, yeah, so he's setting it up like he's going to have to use Starbirth on this end of the Mustard. I don't think it was quite possible for him to Starbirth after the Mustard, so does grab the air balloon. Evolution Incense is going to grab that one copy of the Arceus V-Star, or is it going to get a Drizzile, Kyle?
I'm kind of confused on the ordering. If it's Drizzile, maybe. No, I don't know. I don't see how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're getting Drizzile.
There we go.
Okay.
Yep. Nope. It was not going to work.
Yeah, if he was getting Drizzile, I was definitely going to say he's probably just not going for the Mustard attack this turn. Is just going to go for like a research and try to set up a little bit more.
Yeah, this is certainly going to be the Starbirth into the Quick Ball Mustard.
Yep, and then is just going to be banking on drawing into the energy off of the 5 cards from Mustard. Also could draw into a Drizzile, Level Ball, or Evolution Incense to get a Training Court into play.
Yeah, this makes the most sense. There's the most outs available, and that's what really separates these players when you start to get to the top level and you're looking towards, can I make the top 8 of a day 2? You need to be making these optimal lines to give yourself the best possible odds to get lucky in these situations.
Eyes up the Quick Ball. We know the Mustard is definitely going to be the other grab. And that's what Ryan gets. Quick Ball can get rid of the grass energy. And we could see another Sobble come down, which is really nice as well.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for Ryan. Going to be able to get the second Sobble onto the board. One of those will be able to become a Drizzile off of this top 5 potentially. So a lot of card options available here. I'm excited to see what that Mustard has in store for us.
Yeah, and we definitely know that the air balloon will be attached to the active so that if Ryan finds the energy, he could pull off an attack. And worst case scenario, you know, if Ryan can at least find a double turbo energy, he can still fire off a Trinity Nova this turn, which wouldn't be too bad either.
Well, when you see 5 Pokemon on the bench, you immediately think, oh boy, Avery or Collapse Stadium would be pretty nice right about now. So
yeah,
even though Pablo's seen a lot of bad things happening for him, there is a ray of sunshine gleaming through these dark clouds.
Big 5 cards here for Ryan. Sabelhaus needs to find either a grass energy or one of the many outs that can become a grass energy. And if he is able to do it, he will pull off the one-hit knockout with the Persist Sting on Beedrill, taking out Arceus. Let's see, is there a grass energy?
Energy search
that
right
will
there.
Work. Using that old school fossil energy search.
Yep.
And gets the grass energy out of the deck, and Persist Sting just knocks out this active Arceus and leaves Pablo without an Arceus V-Star in play.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. This is the power of Beedrill. Out of nowhere, this Pokemon can remove a 280 hit point monster and give Ryan 2 prize cards.
A great play from Ryan. Pulls it off, takes 2 prize cards, one of those being the Arceus V-Star that is in the prizes, which is definitely nice to see. But like you mentioned, Ryan has left himself in a position where Avery could be extremely punishing.
Yep, we know that Pablo certainly has the ability to extend here in this position, has the Evolution Incense. I believe we also see another way to search out a Pokemon. So upwards of 3 cards searchable right now with the Drizzile and the Inteleon coming up with Shady Dealings. You have to think that Avery is going to be coming down and this Beedrill is going to be removed from play.
And this Arceus is going to be much more difficult for Ryan to deal with because it doesn't have any special energy attached. So it's going to have to be a 2-hit knockout from an Arceus V-Star or a couple of Arceus V-Stars. And that's the situation Pablo wants to find himself in because he can pull together those share and care chains.
Yeah, you have to think if Pablo were able to find Arceus in combination with that big charm, that he would put himself in a very favorable position here. Getting to attach those energies onto the secondary Arceus, start thinking about those share and cares coming up in the future, and you get to remove upwards of 3 Pokemon from Ryan's side of the field with 2 from the Avery and 1 in the active position. That's huge.
No surprise at all to see Pablo grab the Avery right away. He plays it, and Ryan is forced to discard 2 Pokemon, chooses the Sobble and the Arceus. So now it still is going to have plenty of options with a Sobble and Drizzile on the bench, and of course keeps that Arceus V-Star around as well.
We do see that Arceus V to the top. That is going to be getting some love here in the future turns, but does Pablo want to commit any more to this board here?
Yeah, has a basic energy in hand. I don't know how many more. It looks like no more are in the deck, actually.
And I think that's the Chilling Rain Inteleon, so no additional Shady Dealings, it looks like here. So once again, that open spot with the Arceus V, but Ryan only has 1 energy in play.
Ryan will have to find a double turbo if he wants to pull off a attack this turn. And the good thing for Pablo as well is that Ryan doesn't have Arceus loaded up with a bunch of basic energies. So there is no threat of Choice Belt, Boss's Orders, KO Arceus, which is exactly what we saw happen in game number 1 and why Pablo was at such a deficit.
It looks like Pablo was not able to find additional energy cards, one in the prize cards, likely the other one in the discard piles. So that is going to be it for the water energies at this point until we see Sharon's Care start to pull those up.
Ryan has his own quick shooting Intellion in hand, so you could start trying to work on that benched Arceus V. That helps you play around the Sharon's Cares of Pablo potentially, where you can still pull off double quick shooting plays on the next turn.
Yeah, that certainly sounds strong. Just putting yourself in a position. Ooh, okay.
Goes with the boss and brings up this Arceus. There's a choice. There's no option to put the Choice Belt on the active, though, because it's already got an air balloon. You can only attach one Pokemon tool to a Pokemon.
Is this hand dead?
Yeah, I actually don't think I see an out to a Drizzile or Intellion.
Oh, boy.
Just has the quick shooting Intellion, not Shady Dealings.
Yep, this is a desperation play then.
And quick shooting will ping 20 damage to the benched Arceus V-Star. And has no energy and just has to send up the Dunsparce.
Oh, man. Mysterious Nest.
That's, you know, great in certain matchups. Not really helpful when your opponent just plays a ton of water energies and no fighting Pokemon.
Well, it looks like Ryan's going to put himself in the best possible position in this situation. 2 cards in hand, a Ultra Ball top deck could make Drizzile into mustard plays and you get going, but this is not the hand you're looking for in game 2.
And Pablo can definitely pull off a lot of plays here. Has Scoop Up Net plus Quick Shooting Intellion in hand. Also has the Boss's Orders, so can't quite work out a one-hit knockout on this Arceus V-Star, even with a Choice Belt and the double Intellion pings. That's 260 damage. But if Pablo had like the Galarian Zigzagoon, that could actually pull the play off. And Pablo does not choose to play that card, though, in his list.
Yep, looking for more consistency, of course, fitting in those Melanie engine and that thick Arceus V-Star line, of course. So
yeah, Melanie's going to be a good option here because it gives you the chance to either attack with this active Arceus V, depending on what you draw, or you can even just retreat it potentially. Finds a Scoop Up Net and a couple other supporters, it looks like. Sharon's Care and Marnie in that hand. And we do see Quick Shooting Intellion. Where do you think this 20 damage should go?
Yeah, putting some pressure onto the Arceus V-Star seems optimal. You want to start softening up that target. Potentially you can get those combinations with multiple scoop-up nets and the double Drizzile down on the bench, and you could soften this card up to where maybe it gets knocked out next turn.
I wonder if Pablo will retreat this Arceus and attack, or would he be content just kind of waiting for a turn? It looks like he does want to retreat and still put on the aggression, but the problem becomes there being no energy on this benched Arceus. So if you play a Sharon's Care, we know there's not going to be any energy accelerated here, so next turn if you play a Sharon's Care, there is not going to be an option to actually attack with a Arceus V-Star.
Yeah, there's certainly blood in the water right now, and Pablo can sense that, taking the knockout here. And Ryan, just with 2 cards left, potentially doesn't even have an attacker this turn.
Here. It finds the Raihan. That is a great card to see because it can accelerate an energy to your active Pokemon. So now your Arceus is ready to start attacking. And it also gets you any 1 card out of your deck and puts it into your hand.
Yeah, just eyeing up right now. Pablo seeing Grass Energy move to the top of the discard pile. Can't be thinking that's a good card for him. And there it is. The Raihan is going to get that energy attachment down onto the Arceus V.
So maybe Ryan, off of this Raihan, wants to grab an energy to attach to a different Pokemon, wants to establish energy on 2 different attackers potentially.
Thinking of getting Chippy, perhaps, and maybe getting 130 damage onto this Arceus V?
Yeah, I could go in with the Power Edge, the second attack there on Arceus V. I think if you wanted to attack with Trinity Nova, I would have liked to have seen Ryan just Raihan to the active and then get the double turbo and attach it to the bench.
That's what I was looking for as well.
But this could still be really solid. Get in there with the Arceus V. I mean, this Arceus has the V-Star.
That makes all the sense. Okay, yep. Thanks for hiding that.
There it is. So now he can retreat this active. Inteleon can pressure the benched Arceus. I really like this in case Pablo does go with a Sharon's Care play. And you're hitting here for 180 damage, putting this Arceus up to 200 damage on it thanks to the Inteleon from earlier.
Yeah, this is very solid. It looks like Pablo is certainly eyeing up that Sharon's Care, but where are the energy cards? you got to attack after this.
Yeah, and if Pablo plays Sharon's Care, there is no way for him to attack. So that's really where Pablo's issue comes in right now, is trying to find out where his next attacker is coming from.
Yeah, the energy attachment is absolutely crucial at this point. It looks like the quick shooting in combination with scoop up net, additional quick shot, and boss's orders could remove the Arceus V-Star that's on the bench from play. But you still have this Arceus V-Star that's active that's going to continue to be taking knockouts. And Ryan has already gotten the quick shooting damage onto the bench.
Pablo does target the benched Pokemon with the quick shooting, is going to scoop up net and can re-establish that Inteleon. Quick shooting once again. Now all that Pablo needs is a boss's orders, which he has in hand, can bring up this Arceus V-Star, will take a 2-prize knockout, but there are no energy on this benched Arceus.
Yeah, there are also no energy in this discard or in this deck as well. So he's not going to be able to load up unless he starts searching through with cards like Ordinary Rod.
I think Pablo just evolved the Sabel that just got benched, but you know the other one is the one that was in play last turn. So I think it's just kind of a I can only evolve one Drizzile type of thing.
Yeah, we'll yell at him if the other one evolves too.
Right.
That'll be our problem.
Right. So does eye up Ordinary Rod. This will put back up to 2 basic energy or 2 Pokemon from the discard pile back into the deck. You think Dunsparce is coming back here?
He's very good, and but no, I'm going to pass on that one, Chip.
2 basic waters and the Arceus V-Star are the choices.
Left him right on top. He's don't worry, this is just a simple way to get through the deck, as we know that the Arceus V-Star is going to be attacking soon, getting those water energies onto the Arceus V on the bench.
Yeah, the Ordinary Rod is exactly what Pablo needed here, because otherwise there was really not going to be an option for him to pull off an attack this next turn. And now Pablo is going to take 2 prize cards, go down to just 1 prize card remaining.
Yep, and we see plenty of Sabel, potential Drizzile, potential Inteleon for Pablo here. And Ryan is continuing to fish for outs.
Does have a research in hand.
That is a big top deck yet again.
And can draw 7 cards here after having to discard nothing. Has plenty to work with and is easily going to knock out this active Arceus and can potentially draw into energies here to set up the benched Arceus V-Star. The benched Arceus V, so that it can become a V-Star, or you can Sharon's Care, you can retreat, you can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, when you start thinking about playing to all of your outs, it looks like if Ryan were to end the turn with a knockout and potentially scoop up net on that Sabel that may become a Drizzile this turn, at least all of these Pokemon are out of range of an Arceus V attacking with Power Edge, but Pablo's likely going to be finding additional attackers regardless, so we'll see what Ryan's looking for here.
Yeah, Pablo needs to find an energy card and a boss's orders to close this game out. And if he can't do that, Ryan's still not in a bad spot, especially since a bunch of damage has gotten stacked up on that benched Arceus V already.
Yeah, it is important to note that it is going to be hard for, well, actually, as I say that, I look at Pablo's hand. He got the water out of the prize cards. So that was going to be the huge piece. Finding a double turbo energy or that water energy was going to be rough, but there it is. So the equation gets that much more simple for Pablo.
And with Drizzile in hand, as long as Boss's Orders is still in the deck, he should have those pieces to knock out a Sabel or Drizzile with the Power Edge. Could even go after the Inteleon and hit it for 130, and then you have quick shooting as well to get up to the 150.
Yep, that would have done it as well. So
Ordinary Rod from Ryan, finally getting to play that here in this set. Gets back 2 grass energies and is also going to grab back the Zigzagoon. Could try to set up some damage modifier plays if this next turn doesn't end the game.
Yep, playing to his outs, but of course, 8.5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, we're coming down to a point where it's really going to be tough for a game 3 to finish. Pablo's going to draw. He's playing pretty quickly. Puts the water energy. Drizzile, Shady Dealings, just needs to find the boss's orders. Is it in the deck? Sure enough, Giovanni hits the field, brings up either the Sabel or Drizzile, and we're going to a game 3 here in Swiss round 14.
All right, this is when things get sweaty. There is 8 minutes left. Both of these players desperate for a win, and we'll see how quick they can play. It's going to be hard to fit a full game in when it's already taken upwards of 42 minutes to get to this point.
Yeah, honestly, the pace in that game was kind of slow, it felt like, especially on Pablo's end, where you know you have to win a game 2 and game 3. I would be flying through my deck trying to make things happen, because if even if you win a long game number 2, you find yourself in this exact situation. Only 7.5 minutes left on the clock, which that's not enough time to play a full game of Pokemon. The only way that I feel like this game is going to complete is if one player gets unlucky and starts with a really bad hand.
It is fair to note that when you're looking at those Swiss records, Pablo does have 1 more point than Ryan, and 35 seems to be that cutoff that we're talking about.
This is true, so Pablo could be okay with a tie here, right?
Exactly. Pablo knows that it's going to be hard for him to win a game where this Beedrill can just come out of nowhere and take away all your big Pokemon. So take what you got, but of course, 7 minutes is certainly enough time to get things rolling. If Ryan were to get unlucky, you have to take your chances here and see if you can get 3 points.
These players are drawing their opening hands. Let's see if they both have basics and see if they both have multiple basics at this point. Pablo's got to put the prizes on the correct side of the table. A nice little prize cam here. Let's see. Couple level balls, an Arceus V and V-Star from Pablo. Over on Ryan's side, did prize that Shady Dealings Intellion as well as Raihan. That's 2 pretty crucial cards to see in the prizes.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get things underway here. Looking at the hand for Ryan, I don't see an energy to start things off, and that is not what you want. You'd love to have that energy attachment on the opener.
And especially because, unlike Pablo, Ryan doesn't have basic waters in Melanie. If Pablo misses the turn 1 energy drop, he can still pull off an attack. That's just not something that Ryan's able to do, though.
Yeah, Ryan would have to switch things up and maybe go for a Trinity charge on the second turn.
Yep.
And that is uglier when these guys play as fast as they do.
So Quick Ball can grab any other basic Pokemon out of the deck with 2 Arceus V already and only 1 Sabel. I feel like another Sabel joining the team seems pretty nice.
Yep. In the rest of the hand, we saw multiple Arceus V-Stars, so the hand is not bad, but Grass Energy would have made it a lot better. I mean, let's make it a Capture Energy, too. Why not, you know?
Eyeing up just all the prizes here, I think Ryan's definitely going to make note of, okay, I don't have my Shady Dealings Intellion. That is a really key card in this deck, and really in just any Intellion engine deck, because that's how your deck functions. That is how you search for specific things that you need.
We got a quick fan of Pablo's hand, and he is not doing anything until a Drizzile comes down.
Oh, no. Oh, but that's a big sigh of relief for Pablo, though, since Ryan does miss the energy attachment. Pablo can go for the keep calling here, so that's not too bad. And what this also does is it puts a water energy in play that can either be retreated off, or if the Sabel got knocked out, you could pull it back into play with a Melanie.
Yeah, then no Arceus here to start things off for Pablo does mean that it is likely going to be a turn 3 Arceus V-Star for him.
Yeah.
Of course, multiple Sabel. We saw the level ball top deck, so that's 2 Drizzile waiting in the wings here for Pablo. So we'll have plenty to work with on this following turn.
Yeah, the level ball ready to become a Drizzile, and Drizzile ready to get Pablo whatever he may need. Pablo going to take a moment to check the prize cards, something you want to do, but something you got to do quickly in situations like this as well.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan could certainly go Buzz next turn if he wanted to, but I don't know if that's going to be in the cards or depending on this top deck. But Pablo does need to get moving to get this game going if he wants to potentially win.
Right, yeah, and Ryan could be aggressive with the Beedrill, and that could be his way to take a KO, but by doing that, you're not putting an energy on an Arceus, and then that becomes even more turns until you're pulling off the first Trinity Nova.
Yeah, I think the issue is that it's... Oh, Marnie off the top is a little goofy. Yeah, there's multiple Arceus V-Star, so it looks like if Ryan were to maybe use his Starbirth, get the Ultra Ball, get rid of the Marnie and the Arceus V-Star, then he has the Training Court in play, and he will have a little more working with him if he wants to get the Mustard, but...
Yeah, he may just be content going with the Trinity Charge here, though. Let's see what route he goes with. It is the Ultra Ball is the first grab, so
yeah, I like this.
He wants to go with the Mustard, it seems. Ultra Ball can get the Drizzile, and you still get the energy attachment. Okay.
Yeah, this is clean. You're going to get that Trinity Charge. You're also going to get the Beetle, and you get 3 energies onto your Arceus V-Star.
Oh, this is excellent.
As soon as Pablo does get that first Arceus V into play, Ryan is going to have 3 energy on Arceus V-Star, potentially eyeing up that Choice Belt and Boss's Orders combination that he is so prone to do in this matchup.
So Ultra Ball discarding that Marnie and the Arceus V-Star, and you may be confused to see Arceus V-Star go down, but it is because Ryan wants to use the Trinity Charge this turn, puts the Training Court in play, throws down the Mustard, and here comes Beedrill once again.
Yeah, this is so clean. Ryan already has that Drizzile down, the Sobble as well, but does not have that Shady Dealings Inteleon like you were speaking of, so not going to have as big of combos as he's used to, but certainly going to be able to get the work done with these Drizziles.
Hey, Chilling Reign Inteleon put in a lot of work in the last one.
Hey, yeah, that could definitely make things a little easier, potentially, getting some chip damage in.
So Ryan finds Level Ball for next turn, which is not bad. Actually, I think the Sobble could even evolve this turn if you wanted it to, but there's really not anything else you need right now.
Yeah, we see Scoop Up Net too. I think Ryan's only thinking really, do I Level Ball right now for Sobble? And then I could do that, but you play into that Avery once again.
Yeah.
There's no reason to.
Yeah, for sure. So Ryan's going to grab 2 Grass Energy out of the deck and then 1 Water Energy, using a mix of some old school energies here, those Expedition Grass Energies with that E-Reader type border, and then also that beautiful EX Emerald Water Energies. I know you're a big fan of those energies from that time frame.
You know, we used to split cards way back in the day, and we at one point decided to just split and go our separate ways. I'm pretty sure he stole all the energies, and I got something else.
He got all the hollow energies, and you got stuck with, you know, just some reverse hollow Pikachus or something.
I think I got some Japanese rare candies. It didn't work out.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then they banned Japanese cards for us the year later. So he knows what he's doing.
He definitely came out on top in that instance. So Pablo throws down the Drizzile. Shady Dealings can go get a Quick Ball, it looks like, and this can establish the first Arceus finally, which is, I think, a little too slow from what Pablo would have liked to have had, but we're looking at 50 seconds left in this match. We're going to be going to turns here pretty soon.
Yep, with 6 prizes for both players. Math just does not check out. But Pablo will be able to find that Arceus V and the Big Charm, so at least it will be safe from Ryan's shenanigans on the other side of the board.
Quick Ball's going to discard the Raihan. I think these players are pretty aware of where we're at with the time, that there's not too much time left in the round, so Pablo knows Raihan is probably not, I'm not going to have as many opportunities to make good use of that card, and if it ever did come up, I could always Pal Pad and try to get it back. Pablo does have a double turbo and a scoop up net in hand, so Ryan just went for the Trinity Charge. We could see Pablo kind of go for the same play potentially.
Yeah, it's a little less fun when there's a Beetle waiting, but you got to play Pokemon, and yeah, there's no time for that. Both these players understand where we're at. That is going to be a tie here in round 14.
You hate to see a tie on a stream game, especially in an instance where getting a win puts you so much closer into making the top 8, but Pablo is still in the running here with 2 ties, is going to be okay, has a potential to, you know, still make it into cut with a win in this next round. Unfortunately for Ryan, I think it's going to be a little bit tougher. His record coming into this round was at 1 match point less than what Pablo had, so he might be playing for that top 16 spot now.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see exactly how it breaks down once these next round pairings go up.
Right, we're going to have a good idea of what that looks like coming forward in this next round, this final round. These players are all going to be doing the math behind the scenes, trying to make all of it make sense. But I think from what we were looking at, 34th could certainly be the bubble. But
yeah,
you got to give credit where credit's due. All these players have been working so hard, and to even get to this point where you're playing that last game and you don't know if you're going to make cut, he's going to be working hard to get that those last 3 points and potentially round out a top 16 finish here.
So we know that Andrew Estrada has already locked up a berth into the top 8 by being at enough match points. It looks like Ian Ra